What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video here on B-Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be reading your guys' WWE Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a video series I like to do at least once a week where I read your guys' reactions and hot takes to both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and if a PLE happens, and I basically say whether I agree with it, disagree with it, and why. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. And don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get into these hot takes. The first hot take that we have on here says, WWE not putting AJ Styles on the Clash in Paris card is absolutely insane and baffling to me. He literally created one of the most viral and memorable moments in modern WWE history last year. Sure, he'll wrestle in Paris on the following Raw, but it just won't be the same. I 100% agree. This is such a wasted opportunity. I don't know how you don't put this match on the Clash in Paris card. This kind of reminds me of when, the tag division on SmackDown didn't make it on to WrestleMania, and instead they had that insane TLC match on the SmackDown after. Like, how do you miss... This is such a layup. Like, how do you miss this opportunity? It makes no sense to me. AJ in that packed crowd, full of the crazy France people that are going to be singing to him. Like, how do you miss that opportunity? Like, yeah, I fully expect them to still go crazy for him on Monday Night Raw, but the atmosphere on Clash in Paris would have just been so much better. And especially, like, if AJ Styles is going to win the title, to have him, finally win another singles title in WWE, doing that at Clash in Paris would have been so cool. I actually don't know if he's going to beat Dom now. I could see a world where Dom retains the title, but it's so bad. Like, it's not even just from the fact that we're leaving AJ off the card, but this feud between AJ and Dom has been really good. It's been really exciting. Like, I was fully invested into their match at SummerSlam, and, what's been going on recently with AJ costing Dom the Mega Championship over in AAA. Like, I thought that was going to lead to a Clash in Paris match. Instead, we're just getting it on Monday Night Raw after. Like, it looks like we're just going to get 5 matches on Clash. Like, what's the harm in putting on a 6th match? We saw them do, I think it was 7 matches on Night of Champions. Like, I don't understand why they can't do it. Like, Triple H, we've seen recently, has been abandoning the 5-match PLE like standard that he kind of had throughout 2024. But like, I want to see 6 or 7 matches on these PLE cards, especially Clash in Paris. I know that's not like one of the bigger PLEs, but like the atmosphere, it's gonna be amazing. This is the last premium live event that we're going to get on Peacock before they move to ESPN for their PLEs. So it would have been really awesome to see them go all out and have like a 6 or 7 match PLE and then have this crazy match between AJ and Dominic where, you have that insane French crowd, like I just said, and then maybe AJ wins the title. This is just such a bummer, man. Just very disappointed. The next hot take we have on here says, Roman was all over Raw tonight. Being in multiple segments and brawls made Raw feel like the good old days. I really hope WWE continuing using him to advance storylines through promos and segments instead of just run-in brawls when he comes back. I 100% agree. This was so refreshing to see Roman Reigns, go out there and cut a promo. It feels like ever since he's turned babyface, we don't really get too many Roman Reigns promos. Like, we got a few on the lead up to WrestleMania for the triple threat match with Rollins and Punk, but it feels like ever since then, we haven't really gotten promos from Roman Reigns. Like, I love to hear a good Roman Reigns promo. He literally is one of the best on the microphone that WWE has. Like, his improvement since becoming the Tribal Chief, like, everybody, is seated when Roman Reigns is talking on the mic, especially during those Bloodline segments when he was champion. So, yeah, I want to see him still talk on the microphone. I don't care if he's not, the champion. I don't care if he doesn't have Paul Heyman with him, if he doesn't have a group around him. I still want to hear Roman Reigns promos. And this was just so refreshing because it just reminds you of how good he is on the microphone. And then, yeah, just brawling with, like, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker backstage. Like, that's something we don't see from Roman Reigns. So it was just so cool to see that. And then, talking to Jey Uso, giving him advice. Like, Roman, like, literally, like you said, he was all over Raw tonight, and that was just so awesome. It's just so much better than having Roman Reigns, his music hit, with the final 2 minutes left on the show of a Monday Night Raw, and then take out everybody, or he gets taken out and gets his shoes stolen. It does, it's been very repetitive with that, and I always love to hear a good pop for Roman in the main event when he comes out. But to see him around Raw the entire episode and not just pop up for, like, 5 minutes at most, like, it was just super refreshing, and I want to see more of this. Like, I don't know if Roman's gonna take time off after Clash in Paris to go film Street Fighter, but like, if he's not, I really want to see them continue to do what they did tonight. Just have him float around Raw. Like, the backstage segment with Jey Uso, that was important. Like, that was huge. And like I said, just having him go out there and cut promos. He is one of the best on the microphone. So I just want to see WWE, use this. Use this version of Roman Reigns. Not the guy that just has to make this save in the final 2 minutes of the show and then we don't hear anything from him. I love what they did tonight with Roman Reigns, and I hope they continue to do it. The next hot take we have on here says, I'm really curious if Bayley will come back as a heel and go after Lyra, or come back as a face, or if she will have some type of dual personality. Yeah, this is obviously one of the best things going on Monday Night Raw, and there's a lot of good things going on Monday Night Raw, but this has been so intriguing, these, like, promos from Bayley, where she's got, the old heel Bayley in her head, playing mind games, and then you saw on this episode of Monday Night Raw, we had Hugger Bayley as well in her head talking to her, right? So it seems like it's going to be like a split personality. I don't think that I don't know if she's going to go full on heel. I can tell you right now, she's not going to be just a babyface. It's either going to be full on heel or she's going to have like a split personality. What I mean by that is, some days you're going to see her act like Hugger Bayley. Other days you're going to see her act as ruthless as she was in like 2020 as heel Bayley. Like, I feel like that's the road we're taking, and I'm actually so here for this. Like I said, this has been one of the best things going on Raw. She absolutely needed this. To answer your question, like, will she go after Lyra Valkyria? I could see that because Lyra isn't doing anything on Raw right now, which kind of sucks because, you want to showcase your young superstar, especially after the feud she just had with Becky Lynch. I feel like putting her into a program with Bayley is the best move. I'm not sure who else Bayley would go after, when she returns to, like, in-ring competition. Obviously, the last few weeks, it's just been backstage promos that have already, been packaged up. So I am really curious to see if it will be Lyra Valkyria. Like I said, I think it makes sense. But either way, I am here for the roller coaster of whatever this version of Bayley we're getting. So cannot wait to see what happens next. The next hot take we have says, I am really curious on who's going to fight for the Women's World Championship against Stephanie Velcro. I hope they give Lyra her flowers for the great IC Championship run. I just hope they don't give it to Rhea or Io again because they have a very interesting story going on. I agree with you. I think that Rhea and Io shouldn't win the World Championship. They are involved in a great storyline. With Asuka and Kairi Sane, I've been very invested in that. I've, talked about it a lot. I'm so happy that Rhea and Io are doing something outside of the world title picture because, it seems, for the last, year or two, they've always been in the world title picture. So it's so refreshing, especially Rhea as well. It's so refreshing to see them doing something else. I want to see new faces in the main event scene, like Stephanie Valkyria. Naomi was a fresh face as well. And there's a few other people that I think that they could insert into the main event scene. But, who is Stephanie Valkyria going to fight now? We know it's not going to be at Clash in Paris, which is a bummer. That crowd would have went bananas for Stephanie Valkyria. But it did, Adam Pearce was making it seem like he's just choosing somebody to fight her. It doesn't seem like they're going to do, another battle royal or, some type of stipulation match where, they determine the number one contender to go against Stephanie Valkyria. So, who is he going to choose? I don't know. It could be Rhea Ripley because, she's the biggest star on the roster, and Rhea versus Stephanie is a dream match, although I think that should be like a WrestleMania match. Io Sky versus Stephanie Valkyria, obviously, we've seen it twice, but it's gotten interrupted both times. That's another match we need to see end clean, see who comes out the better woman. Io does have a good case because she was the former world champion. She never actually got her rematch for the title, a one-on-one rematch, I should say, because she was not pinned in that triple threat at SummerSlam. So I could see it being Io, but I don't think that they should put the title on Io by any means because, like you said, she's involved in the storyline with Rhea Ripley. So I don't really want it to be either Io or Rhea Ripley. I think those matches with Stephanie Valkyria will happen, but I think they'll happen at bigger PLEs like WrestleManias and SummerSlams. So that really begs the question, who will it be if it's not Rhea or Io? I think that there's two good options here. The first one, I think, is Roxanne Perez because she's the young superstar. She's been, pinning, top stars like Io Sky, and a couple others, right? They've been giving her a semi-push, obviously, with being in the Judgment Day. So I would really like this because, obviously, if you put the title on her, that obviously, begs the question, when Liv comes back, is she going to win the Rumble? And then is she going to challenge Roxanne Perez for the title? Obviously, that's long-term storytelling, but, that would be a cool route they could go. Roxanne would probably be the youngest women's world champion as well of all time. So that would be super cool. I wouldn't mind if they did that. Roxanne versus Stephanie obviously had a feud in NXT for the NXT championship. So it's, it's something that, where they have history and it's not just a random match thrown together, right? That's all what we're expecting because it doesn't seem like we're going to get much of a build towards whatever this match is going to be like we did with Stephanie and Naomi. But the other option I think, could be a great option is Bayley. And I've talked about this a lot. I think Bayley, could definitely be the next women's world champion because of how Naomi's character was. She was the big bad heel of Monday Night Raw. If Bayley's, if she does turn heel with this whole split personality thing, I think she could easily replace Naomi in that role. We've seen how good she can be as a heel. So this would be a cool route that they could go. Obviously, a lot of people do want Stephanie Vaquer to win. I want her to win the title as well. But I feel like Stephanie versus Bayley could be interesting. And maybe like in the match, we have Bayley full on turn heel because the voice is in her head. Like, I don't know. I think Bayley versus Stephanie is what it's going to be. I like Stephanie versus Roxanne as well. Stephanie versus Rhea and Io, like I said, I don't really want to see that yet. I want them to wait to do that kind of match. But yeah, if I had to pick, I think it is going to be Stephanie versus Bayley. And, as much as I, want Stephanie to win that match, I feel like they would probably give it to Bayley. But I could be wrong, and I think that's the route that they will go. The next hot take we have on here says, I feel Penta is getting boring and misused. Not only is he an incredible in-ring worker, he also is popular. Having him feud with the New Day still doesn't do anything for him. The New Day aren't the heels they were a couple months ago. I believe he should be hunting the mid-card belts. So I disagree with you when you say that he's boring. I don't find Penta boring. I find Penta to be highly entertaining. But I do agree with you that he is being misused right now. I defended, WWE Creative a couple months ago when people were saying Penta was being buried because he was losing to like Seth Rollins. That was stupid because he's losing to main eventers, guys that are future Hall of Famers, and he was in the main event scene. Like, he was literally out there at Night of Champions in the main event with John Cena and CM Punk, if you guys remember that. I thought they were going to keep Penta floating around the main event scene. I thought he was going to get a world title shot at Seth Rollins at some point. But right now, I just have no idea what they're doing with Penta. He was so incredibly over, and he still is. And having a single superstar feud with a tag team just makes no sense. Like, I really don't understand what they're doing. And then having him to lose to Kofi Kingston. I love Kofi Kingston to death. But why is Kofi picking up a win versus Penta? Like, I don't understand what they're doing with this storyline. This storyline makes no sense. Why are the New Day not, fighting for the tag titles? Like, they're a tag team. Why are they fighting with Penta? Like, it makes zero sense to me. It sucks to see Penta go from, being in feuds with, like, the main event guys, like he was just a few months ago, to now being stuck in, like, the mid-card shuffle with, like, the New Day and Grayson Waller. Like, I just don't like that at all. I hope that it's not for long because, like you said, he should be going after championships. Obviously, he feuded with Dom already for the IC belt, so they're probably keeping him away from that. But like I said, I would have loved to see him in a world title match with Seth Rollins. Like, I feel like that would absolutely cook. I think that, has a possibility of happening down the line because I think Seth will hold the title for at least like 4 or 5 more months. I'm not sure when he's going to lose it, but I would like to see Penta, be involved in the main event scene as well because I feel like he does belong there. So that is something I want to see. I hope that he doesn't, get stuck in this mid-card vortex and fall into like a Carmelo Hayes trap where he just like isn't on WWE TV and they don't know how to use him because, Penta, like I said, he's so over. You can find a way to put him into the main event seat and use him correctly. I just hope that they actually do so. The next one we have on here says, this was the best segment of the night to me. Nikki and Becky are going on this heater feud after the recent banger Lyra feud. I believe having 2 huge names in this feud makes the history of the belt look amazing. But I pray we don't let Becky drop the strap. It's the wrong time. I 100% agree. I have been loving this feud between Becky and Nikki. I feel like this is perfect for the Women's IC Championship belt. I feel like Nikki does belong in the mid-card, so I'm happy that she's getting some shine ever since, coming back to WWE. Obviously, she was supposed to have that big feud with Liv Morgan that never happened because Liv got hurt. So I feel like this is the next best thing they could do is a Nikki versus Becky Lynch feud, and I've been loving it. Like you said, the feud between Becky and Lyra, that was awesome. You didn't mention Bayley, but Bayley and Becky being in that mix as well, like that was awesome. The Women's IC Championship has just felt so important. It literally feels more important than the WWE Women's Championship, held by Tiffany Stratton. Not her fault, but this is just, this title, it's been on an incredible run ever since being put in the hands of Becky Lynch. She's been on, in my opinion, probably the greatest run of her career. I've really enjoyed this heel character from Becky Lynch. She's been doing excellent work. There's just no other way to put it. But I do agree. I think that Becky Lynch, she shouldn't lose the title to Nikki Bella. As much as I love Nikki Bella being the one to dethrone Becky Lynch just makes no sense. Like, Becky is literally the best in the game right now that WWE has. So to have her lose to like a Nikki Bella who just came back recently and obviously, hasn't had too many matches, like it would just make no sense from a logical standpoint. I want to see Becky hold this damn title for like a long ass time. I want to see her feud with Nikki Bella, beat Nikki Bella, go on to feud with maybe like Stephanie Vaquer if that's in the works, Io Sky. Like, there's a lot of like dream matches and feuds I still want to see with Becky Lynch. So in order for that to happen, I think having her hold the IC Championship is just the right move. Having her lose to Nikki would kill all of her steam. When you're on an incredible run like Becky is, having her lose to someone like Nikki Bella, it would kill every bit of momentum that she has. And obviously, I have huge faith that WWE is going to let Becky Lynch retain the title. I feel like that would be a stupid business decision. I do fully expect her to retain in this match. But like you said, the feud, it's been really fun, and I can't wait for the match at Clash in Paris. The next hot take we have on here says, I didn't think that Brock would interfere in this John Logan match before, but Nick Aldis saying he heard from Brock right before Logan knocked out John makes me think that Brock will end up interfering at Clash and give Logan the win. The setup is too perfect. Yeah, I think that Brock Lesnar, could return at Clash in Paris. I also think he might not. But for Logan beating Cena, I really don't like the sound of that. I could see a world where Cena does want to put over Logan because he has, stressed it a lot how much he likes Logan Paul and thinks he's an incredible performer and he's made for WWE. But I just don't want to see Logan beat Cena. I really just don't want to see Cena start to lose on his retirement tour. Obviously, that would be a huge setup to the match between him and Brock. But, what I would prefer is that John Cena beats Logan Paul clean, and then after the match, Brock Lesnar comes out and maybe destroys John Cena again. Maybe he doesn't just give him an F5, but he, takes him to Suplex City and kind of destroys him like the old days. I'm down for that. I am not down for Brock Lesnar helping Logan Paul. In what world does that make sense with Brock's character to help Logan Paul? Are you serious? I don't agree with that. But, I could obviously see it happening because, like I said, John Cena likes Logan Paul. I could see him wanting to put over some young superstars now that he's closer to his way out. But, like I said, I much prefer the idea of Lesnar coming out after this match. But I think it will, Clash of Paris will be where we see Brock Lesnar return. Obviously, we haven't seen him since SummerSlam. We know he's advertised for September 12th and 19th, right before WrestlePalooza. That's obviously where this match is going to take place. So having him return at Clash in Paris and maybe, like I said, destroy John Cena after the match, that works for me. And that obviously sets up, what's probably going to be one of the best feuds in this John Cena retirement tour because this is, only going to be his second feud as a babyface because obviously people are not huge fans of this Logan Paul feud. So I feel like a lot of people will be interested in this Brock Lesnar feud because it is very nostalgic. The next one we have on here says, this segment was amazing. Cena cooked Logan and made a point saying that he took away the opportunity for him to face deserving opponents he wanted to face. I'm even more excited for this match at Clash in Paris. Yeah, that promo was excellent. John Cena, he absolutely torched Logan Paul. I do want to shout out Logan Paul, though. He did a really good job in this promo. I feel like Logan is a good dancing partner for Cena because this version of John Cena, the babyface Cena that just crushes you on the mic, Logan's just perfect to eat that because, he's that snarky heel character. So I really do think that they can work well together between these promos. I know a lot of people weren't excited to see this. I was one of them. I wasn't really interested in Logan versus Cena, but the dynamic, getting to see John Cena back in his element, being able to crush the not top heel, but the guy that the WWE Universe hates the most, being able to crush him on the mic, I feel like that was just so awesome to see. But yeah, I am super excited for this match. I feel like it could be a good match. I know that Logan Paul is a very fast-paced wrestler. John Cena isn't at this point of his career, but I think it should still be good. But the point you said about John Cena bringing up the people that he could have faced in his retirement tour instead of Logan Paul, I love that they're doing that. I love that they're listening to what the audience is saying because that's obviously, because the entire IWC was freaking out saying that we're not going to get John Cena versus AJ Styles. We're not going to get John Cena versus Seth Rollins, but instead we're getting Logan Paul. Everyone was unhappy about that. It just makes it feel so much more real because you could probably, make the assumption that John Cena is talking from his heart, right? Saying he wanted to face guys like AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and the Usos, but now he can't because he has to feud with Logan Paul. So I feel like they're just adding that realness to it. It's just perfect in my opinion. I love that they're using this as a narrative for this storyline. And like you said, the match, I'm excited. You're excited for it. I'm excited for it too. I can't wait for John Cena versus Logan Paul at Clash in Paris. The next hot take we have on here says, what do we have to do to get out of the Nia Jax hole? It's a crime what they're doing to Tiffany. Yeah, I don't really want to blame Nia Jax. I'm going to blame the creative decision to have SmackDown's women roster be so much more worse than Monday Night Raw. Raw has all the talent in the world on the women's roster. Io Sky, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, who obviously had to vacate the title, Stephanie Von Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella. They have so much talent on Monday Night Raw. Lara Valkyria, Bayley. I didn't even name all of them, and I'm probably missing a few. SmackDown, it's literally just Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Nia Jax. That's all we're seeing with Tiffany Stratton and this title. I don't know what else they really can do because they don't want to have a draft, which I don't understand why. They don't want to send Raw superstars over to SmackDown. I don't understand why. We need to see refreshing feuds for Tiffany Stratton. Her feuding with Nia Jax for this long, it should have been over months ago. And the fact that it hasn't is just, it's stupid, right? It just feels like that they're waiting for Bianca Belair to come back, right? That's what this all is about, because Bianca is one of the top stars on Friday Night SmackDown. So, whenever she returns from her broken fingers, I do expect her to now come after Tiffany Stratton. I initially thought the plan was for her to come back and go on Raw, actually, and go after Naomi, which would have just been so unfair to SmackDown. But with Naomi vacating the title, she's not going to be back for a long time. I do expect them to just scrap up that storyline, have Bianca go after Tiffany Stratton, perhaps take the title from Tiffany, and then you can roll into a Bianca versus Jade storyline. And I feel like that's how you can make SmackDown, the women's roster on SmackDown, a little more interesting. But I still believe that they should give, Monday Night Raw should give Friday Night SmackDown like one or two more superstars, right? I feel like that makes sense, but I don't know if they're going to end up doing that. But yeah, we need to get out of this Nia Jax vortex. Tiffany Stratton, she needs some new feuds, and hopefully Bianca Belair can come back soon so we can see something refreshing. The next one and final one we have on here says, what's going on with Randy? Why did he hit Drew with an RKO? I guess their storyline isn't done. Obviously they were feuding going into SummerSlam, where they had the tag match with Randy and Jelly Roll versus Drew and Logan, and obviously Drew and Logan came out on top in that match, which was very surprising. We obviously haven't seen Randy since then, so I guess Randy logically just still wants to go after Drew McIntyre because he lost that match. I also just, assume they don't have anything for Randy Orton at this time. I think that they're going to wait until after this storyline with Drew and Cody to have maybe Randy go into the main event scene, go after the WWE title. A cool route that they could go is they have Randy and Drew fight in a number one contenders match for Cody's championship. I don't know when Cody's coming back to WWE TV. I think he's filming Street Fighter because we haven't seen him on TV for the last 2 weeks. He kind of got written off when Drew Claymored him through the announce desk. So I think that obviously we're going to get Cody versus Drew at WrestlePalooza. So maybe the way they stall and, not give a Drew McIntyre promo every week with Cody not being there is they do a number one contenders match with, Randy and Drew. I feel like that makes sense with their history there. So I feel like that is why Randy's here. I think another reason is potentially we might get Randy Orton and John Cena versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, which I would be so stoked to see. We know we saw John and Cody versus Drew and Logan, so I don't know if they would do another tag team match with them, but like seeing John and Randy team up, like that would be so cool. Like it was cool to see them feud for the final time, but now it'd be even like more cool to see them tag team, one last time and hopefully pick with the win versus Drew and Logan. I do hope that they end up doing that, but yeah, I just don't feel like they want to do anything else with Randy Orton. I think that they want to have him around the main event scene with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes until he eventually gets his hands on Cody Rhodes and goes after that WWE Championship. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up down below. Don't forget to comment down below what future videos you guys would like to see from me. Alright guys, peace.